corruption now. Limpopo-based construction company Khato Civil says it had no choice but to retrench 500 employees at the Giyani Bulk Water Project. It was meant to supply 55 villages with clean drinking water, but problems started to emerge soon after the project launched. These included claims of irregular awarding of tenders and other contractual disputes. ENCA's Kathy Moshahlana is out there tracking that story for us. And Kathy, I mean, this has been said before, that corruption is not a victimless crime. And in the last few days that you've been sort of doing this whistle-stop tour of yours in Limpopo, you've been at the coalface of the real victims of corruption.
You're right, Tulas, and it's been absolutely heartbreaking, to say the least, to see the state in which people are forced to live, the conditions which they have been forced to get accustomed to, not just over the last couple of years, Tulas, but certainly for decades. Today, we promise we bring you the story of the water crisis, and of course, much of our work has been, the impact of municipalities that invested monies into VBS. And when we were in Giyani and just talking to locals about service delivery issues, they raised the issue of water, and that wasn't necessarily as something that was undertaken by the municipality, but in fact the National Water Department has a project that has been in Giyani since 2014. According to the budget vote, this is by Minister Ngwinti earlier on this year, 3.5 billion rand has been used on this project. Khato Civils, which you were referencing earlier, has received 2.2 billion rand of that money so far. But this is the state that we found communities in. Now, much of their work hasn't been completed, as you mentioned, there are issues with payments, but the story is far more nuanced than that, because the business forum here believes that Khato was using some of the money that they were being given to actually fund parties like the governing party, the ANC, and of course also allegations that that money was used to fund Nomvula Mokonyane. Now we are putting in requests for a right of reply to these allegations, but Khato saying to Michelle earlier on in the day that they had switched on water to some villages, but we haven't been able to find that, Tulas. We've asked them for the names of those villages which they claim have running water, and we'll certainly be going to see if that's the case in the next hour or so. But here's what we found so far. I'm going to step out of picture. Over lunchtime, this area was full of lots of mothers and women that had come to collect water. And now the old lady that you see there, she's the only one that's left behind. She's got quite a bit of washing to get through. As you can see, she's got her 3 basins laid out. And the gentlemen that you're seeing there have arrived not too long ago, and they're of course going to be filling up those tanks, and they'll be driving back home. We're told that this is what residents here have to do on a daily basis just to have access to water. This canal is the only source of water that they have in this area, and it's not just humans that are drinking water from this canal. Animals are also drinking water from this canal. In fact, some of the animals fall in, as you can see with the structure. Some of them fall in, they die in this water. So it really is a water crisis. And, there have been numerous interventions that have been announced, whether under Minister Mokonyane's tenure at the Water Department. We now had Minister Ngwinti in his budget vote saying that he was going to try and intervene and ensure that the people of Giyani get water. They've seen contractors come and go to us, but the one thing they still don't have is water, and yet money has gone into those projects. When you drive in, you will also still find some of the plants, some of the pipes that had been bought by different construction companies that were designated for use as, part of the water supply here. But none of that has borne any fruit yet.
Yeah, in fact, Kathy, you preempt my next question to you to say, it's hard to believe that, you're talking more than 3 billion rand later, and according to the people you've been talking to there, at least 2 billion of that going to Khato Civils, led by Mongezi Mnyani, who is someone we do know from his previous tenure in the Gauteng administration during the years of Nomvula Mokonyane here. Are you telling me that there's absolutely no sign that there was a project underway? You mentioned these pipes that you are seeing, but surely, Kathy, you must be able to see something that looks at a certain level of completion.
Well, let me tell you what, Khato was speaking to Michelle earlier, and what he said is that the project is 95% complete. They still need over 600 million rand to complete the final phase of the project. That's what he said to Michelle. Now, when you speak to people here, they say that the fact that Khato has received 2.2 billion rand already means that they should long have been completed with this project, because that was not anywhere near the initial costing. Now, he says that the department fully approved a budget of 2.8 billion. But let's take you back to how it actually began, Tulas. This was intended as a 500 million rand project, 5 million rand odd million rand project that was then almost, escalated to 55 villages, and the final price tag that the department has in its own records as having spent on it is 3.5 billion rand. But still, we don't have any running water. Now, we are giving them the benefit of the doubt, and we are waiting for that list of villages where they claim. He told Michelle during the interview that they have provided water to 21 villages. Now, when I told the local forums here about that, everybody, burst out in laughter. They were just like, where are these 21 villages? Can you at least show them to us so that we can know we live here? And that is certainly not the case. So we're waiting for that list, and certainly we'll do our best to try and check which villages have that water. But as it stands, Tulas, the water project, is still... It's not yet complete. It still needs more money. And, the woes of the community here look like they're going to continue, because as it stands, Khato was saying that they have not been getting good feedback from the department. They've not been getting the guarantees that they need to ensure the money will be paid. So as it stands, this project is still on hold.
All right, Kathy Mohlahlana, thank you so much. We'll leave it there for now.